When it comes to on-the-job training, there are times when group learning makes complete sense. This is when you get everybody out in the field together, everybody in a classroom together, and they're all learning the same thing at the same time, which is great for consistent messaging and for standardization because there's no question later about what was said or what the expectation is. It's also really good for team building. When you're a manager, you have to seek out opportunities to bring your team together. Otherwise, everyone's kind of like doing their own thing and working on their own projects. So you have to seek out opportunities to bring them together and collaborate. And learning happens to be a really great way to develop relationships among a team. However, classroom training or group learning can be very limiting, especially when you have a new hire or it's a very technical or complicated procedure or learning experience, or when someone's trying to move up from one level to the next in their career growth path, or maybe you just have someone who's struggling at work. Group learning might not be the right solution in these circumstances. And I got to experience this firsthand when I got some one-on-one training. I've been wanting to learn more about electrical systems. We're creating content right now on normal power and emergency power systems. And electrical systems are not something that I'm deeply familiar with. I have a very high level understanding, and I wanted to learn more so I could determine what's most relevant or most appropriate for the content that we're creating. So to help me learn more about electrical systems, I asked a plant supervisor here in town to tour me through his hospital, through his electrical rooms. And of course, in that 30 minutes, I learned far more than I had learned on the internet or in my books and in presentations and all these other resources that were at my disposal that I've been pouring into, trying to take in as much as I can. But within that 30 minutes, I learned so much. It was such an engaging, just awesome experience because I got to ask questions in real time and then get immediate answers to those questions. And if I didn't understand something, then I got to ask it again until I got the answer that I needed. And you just don't have that flexibility in group learning. And even if you do, you might not be comfortable with asking those questions, right? I mean, some work environments are really competitive and peers won't ask questions in front of their peers. I mean, someone might not want to ask a question because they could look foolish or inadequate, or they don't know what they're talking about, or like, oh my gosh, why didn't you know that? So there's all these different reasons or hesitations why people won't ask questions in a group setting. And for me, I don't want to waste anyone's time with my, silly questions. But when we got into that electrical room and I saw equipment that I didn't recognize, I was like, hey, what's that thing? Oh, that's a capacitor. Oh, what does a capacitor do? And I got answers to my questions in real time at my level. It was so customized and I was super engaged because I felt really safe to learn in the way that I needed to learn in that moment and walked away with a really good understanding of what I just saw and experienced. So I would encourage you, if you have someone struggling at work or if you are working with someone in a transition phase, then consider one-on-one learning, even though it's less convenient to arrange one-on-one learning for everyone on your team. And you might not have to for everyone, but if you can customize or tailor that experience so it's a more intimate, personal setting, do that. It takes more time, but it also saves more time in the long run because that investment now will empower them in the future because they won't make mistakes. They won't have as many questions. They'll be able to have confidence in what they're doing because they've been able to learn and understand at their level on the front end. So seek out opportunities as a manager to engage your staff in one-on-one training when it's appropriate and when it's possible. So if you have a similar experience, maybe you've had a one-on-one training or you've been on the other end where you've taught someone at a one-on-one level, I'd love to hear about it. What are some of your tips when deciding between group learning and one-on-one? Thanks, y'all.